Gang, Mike here, head trader at True Trading Group, and on April 3rd, all about wedges, descending wedge and ascending wedge. Okay, I made an option trade on Tesla. I still have a piece of it. There is a technical analysis and catalyst for this trade. There's also a fundamental analysis and catalyst for this trade. I will get into that trade with you. First, guys, I missed OPTT today. I'm probably sure that there's a lot of people that are probably wondering, oh man, I can't wait to see a video from Mike on OPTT because it was an absolute beast today. I missed it. I missed it. I tried it right in here and I missed it. It just took off without me, got halted, and then right off the trading halt, it just exploded and just took off without me. I missed it. Was very frustrating. I was watching it all morning. It was my focus, and I just missed it. So that one really kind of bummed me out because a lot of members in chat caught it. A lot of people in chat caught it. I didn't get it. Sucked. I'm still sour about it for missing this trade. It's funny because it's funny the way the human mind works, because I get more frustrated when I'm right about a trade and don't make money than I do get frustrated when I'm wrong and I actually lose. It's like I would rather just be wrong and lose money than be right and not take part in the move. And that's the wrong way to think, because I didn't lose any money. I just didn't make money in OPTT. Obviously, you'd always rather not make than you would lose. It's just funny how the human mind works. So I was pretty frustrated on this OPTT today. Needless to say, it kind of screwed me up a little bit mentally. But I was able to stay focused on Tesla, and I found a really good opportunity. And let me talk real quick, guys, before I get into the technical part of this Tesla trade. I want to go over with you the fundamental piece of this trade, and that is Tesla is set to release their Q1 deliveries. Street estimate is about 55,000, and I am going into this trade actually on the short side. Okay, I am thinking that Tesla is going to miss on their deliveries. And there's two things that I'm thinking about. I'll give you both sides of this argument. The reports that I read was Tesla was going to announce anywhere between April 1st and April 3rd. Okay, so here we are. We're after market. I'm still sitting here, watching Tesla because they could announce, after the close here. It's about 10 to 6. So I was thinking to myself today that the fact that they still had not released, I was thinking that the numbers probably not good, because just going off of Elon Musk's personality and attitude, if they were blowout numbers, he would want to get it out there and stick it in the face of every single house that is short on the street in his name. Okay, I think still there's like 21% of the float is short, and I think if the numbers were blowout bangbuster news, I think he would get it out and get it out quick. So the fact that there's been a delay on it, I feel like the numbers could be bad. But here's the flip side of that argument. Okay, the other possibility could be Tesla is due in court tomorrow, okay, for the contempt of court charge against Musk, if they're going to stop him from tweeting, if he violated the agreement that he signed with the SEC. They're going to be in court tomorrow. So it's possible that, let's say the numbers are really good. It's possible they could be saving that to, maybe cancel out any bad news that may come out from the court hearing. So it's an interesting way to kind of think about this. And when it's very rare that you see me place a trade with a fundamental catalyst behind it. Like, you guys very rarely will see me get long or short a stock like into earnings, because it's a total coin flip. You have no idea what the earnings are going to be. You don't know what their guidance is going to be. You don't know how the market's going to take that news. It's a total coin flip. Technical analysis goes out the window at that point. So it's very rare that you'll see me take a trade going into a fundamental catalyst like that. But this trade, I placed this trade initially because of a technical catalyst, a technical analysis, and then I have this fundamental catalyst to go with it. The other thing that I think about is, not too long ago, just a couple months ago, I feel like it was Elon Musk sent an official memo to all of his employees trying to rally them kind of rally the troops to help meet the delivery numbers for the Model 3. And I remember at the time this happened, I thought this was strange. Essentially, he's like asking people to work harder, stay late, get with, be a team player and help them meet these demands. I didn't see that as a sign of like camaraderie, okay, amongst the staff. I just kind of looked at that as like kind of like a stated of like desperation maybe to help try to meet those numbers. Because they had really good numbers in Q4 on their deliveries, but you also had higher demand because the tax incentive was running up for the electric car, and there's some, I don't know, guys. I'm just like I'm thinking, walking you guys through my thought process on the fundamental catalyst of this trade. The technical catalyst on this trade is easy. Okay, it's a descending wedge pattern on the daily chart. It was an ascending wedge on the intraday chart. That's why I prefaced this video with it's all about wedges. But I wanted to walk you guys through kind of my thought process with this Tesla. So I developed the trade idea, okay, on the daily chart, and then I used the intraday chart to, perfect the entry, okay, and get my execution and know when it's time to pull the trigger. And that's how you have to do this, especially when you're talking about swing trades, because this is a swing trade. Okay, I'm holding on to these options until tomorrow, my expiration. Oh, just so you know, I bought today. I bought the 290 strike, April 5th expiration. Okay, we're trading right now at 291.70. I bought those contracts when Tesla was trading at around 295.50. Okay, I bought those contracts right there for $5.25 a contract. When the market closed today, we were trading at $6.20 on those contracts. So I'm up nice on the trade. I actually already took some profit off right here. When Tesla did this, okay, I took a chunk of my profit off on that trade. I'll get into that trade with you guys in a second. I'm getting too much into the actual my actual trade. I'll walk you guys through that in a moment. But when you guys are looking for swing trades, and even when you're looking for day trades, the trade idea and the concept behind the trade itself, okay, you're going to develop that based on the daily chart, okay? And then you use the intraday chart to find setups or technical indicators that let you know that now is the time to pull the trigger. Okay, that's what I did in Tesla. Let's get to the daily chart on Tesla, and I'll walk you guys through my technical analysis and why I'm in a put option here on Tesla, and it has to do with a giant descending wedge pattern. Okay, here is a big descending wedge pattern for Tesla. Okay, here you can see the resistance downtrend line. Okay, you can see today's highs right there. And then you can see the support on the bottom trend line. Okay, this is a big descending wedge pattern. Okay, you also have the 50-day moving average that is sitting right here that we have had a very difficult time staying above. You can see we tried to get above it in January, failed. Tried to get above it in end of February, failed. Now we tried to get above it here in early April, and now I'm thinking that we're going to fail. Okay, so that's what I'm looking at here on Tesla. This was the technical analysis for this trade. Is I'm looking for now I'm looking for a pullback, okay, down, off, and away from this resistance level, and eventually I think Tesla is going to settle somewhere in like the low 280s, okay, down in here, and that'll give me a really nice trade on that option contract. So that's the technical analysis on the daily chart. That's how I came up with the idea for this trade. So now that I have an idea and I have a sentiment, I'm bearish essentially then on Tesla. We go to the intraday chart, and now we try to find an entry point. Okay, we try to find an entry point. Tesla was very, very strong off the opening bell. Okay, very strong. And I want to take you guys to a 5-minute chart to show you another wedge. Instead of a descending wedge like we had on the daily chart, here you guys can see we have an ascending wedge. Okay, ascending wedge, higher highs, higher lows. Okay, the other thing for you guys to focus on when you identify ascending wedge patterns, and these are reversal patterns. Okay, an ascending wedge is a reversal pattern. A descending wedge is also a reversal pattern. But I'm looking at this descending wedge on the daily chart, okay, as another resistance point. I think we're going to pull in, eventually find support here before we break that resistance point and go. So I think we're going to develop this descending wedge a little bit further on the daily chart. I don't think we're ready to break out of that wedge just yet. But if Tesla comes out with bang buster delivery, the delivery numbers are way above the street expectations, we will get a gap up. We will get above 300, and I will lose money on this put option. Okay, so let's get back to the intraday chart. Here you guys can see an ascending wedge pattern. The other thing I want you to notice is every time the Tesla made a new high, you see new high right here, and then another new high right here, the volume got lighter and lighter. Okay, that is one way that you can tell that a stock is starting to get tired. It's starting to run out of momentum when it's making new high after new high after new high. And every time that stock makes a new high, the volume on each subsequent high is lower and lower and lower. It is an early indication that the stock is starting to get tired. It's running out of momentum. So when I identified this ascending wedge intraday, and then I checked out the decreasing volume on the new high, I said to myself, this is an ascending wedge pattern. We are right at, okay, we're right at that resistance point on the daily chart, okay, for that descending wedge. If I want to get short Tesla, right now is the place for me to do it if we can break out of this ascending wedge. So right here, guys, okay, as we broke out of this ascending wedge, I bought, I'll take you to my trade announcements. Okay, I bought Tesla 290 strike, April 5th expiration put option at 525 a contract. Okay, my stop loss on that entry was if Tesla got above the 297 area. And the reason for this, guys, if this is a true ascending wedge and we really broke down, okay, out of this ascending wedge pattern, the stock should not go back up and test the high of the day. Okay, once you break out of an ascending wedge, typically that's the high of the day. So if you're looking to short a stock, okay, out of an ascending wedge, you can usually set your stop loss just above that previous high, because if it's a true ascending wedge breakout, okay, or in this case breakdown, you should not get back up and test that high. And Tesla didn't. It did not get back up and test that high. So here was my entry point on those options at 525 a contract, okay, and then we broke down out of that ascending wedge and we started to drift our way lower. Now, my initial thought process on this trade, guys, was for a swing. I planned on holding this. I'm looking for a gap down tomorrow, hoping that, you know, the delivery numbers act as a fundamental catalyst that would go in my favor on this trade. So I've got a technical catalyst on the daily chart with that setup, and then I also have a fundamental catalyst that is going to greatly affect this trade. According to the options, we're pricing in about $9.50 a move in either direction based on these numbers. So if the numbers, what that essentially means is that the market is expecting, if the numbers are good, Tesla's going to jump by $9.50. If the numbers are bad, Tesla's going to drop by $9.50. Okay, so obviously this fundamental catalyst is going to have a big effect on the result of this trade for me. So knowing that, okay, if you guys find yourself in a trade where you are open and susceptible to a fundamental catalyst that is completely out of your control, if you're in a trade and you know you're open to that risk and you have profit on the table that is staring you in the face, take some off. Okay, because after I enter these put options up here, you see we got like a $4 pullback on Tesla. So right here, I took some profit just to lock it in and reduce my risk on the overnight hold. Okay, back to my trade announcements. You guys can see here I took some profit off, okay, and I sold some of that contract position at $6 a contract. Okay, so a nice little gain, reduce my risk, lock some profit, take it off the table, because if the numbers are bad and we gap down into the low 280s, I'm going to make a lot of money on the trade. Okay, so whether I'm in 100% of my position or if I sold 25% of it and I took some profit, I lightened up my risk, I'm still going to make a good amount of money regardless if I'm in 100% or if I'm in 75%, okay? But if I'm wrong, you know, my risk on 100% of my position versus 75% of my position and locking in the profit could be a big difference for me as far as how much money I'm going to lose if these numbers come out strong, okay? So again, if you ever find yourself in a trade where you have exposure to a fundamental catalyst, that could be an FDA announcement, could be earnings, could be whatever. If you find yourself in that position, you're in a trade and you are up on that trade and you have a good profit on the table, don't just leave it all out there. take some off the table, reduce your risk in case that fundamental catalyst goes in the opposite direction for you. Okay, so that's what I did on this Tesla trade. I still am holding the bulk of this position. Again, I'm long the 290 strike, April 5th, that is Friday expiration at $5.25 a contract. I'm hoping that we get a gap down tomorrow, okay, below 290. It'll immediately put my option contract in the money. I'll have some nice intrinsic value. Because right now I'm just sitting on time value and extrinsic value on these contracts because I'm still out of the money. So once we get below 290, I think we see a nice little pop as intrinsic value gets added to the premium on my contract, and I could be selling $7, $8, $9 a share. I mean $9 a contract on that put option, especially if this thing gets down towards 280. I'll have $10 of intrinsic value on that contract. So could be a big win. It's an aggressive trade because Tesla is a very volatile stock, so you're going to be paying a lot of extra premium in the price of that contract because of the volatility and Tesla's likelihood to make large moves in short periods of time. So Tesla is a lot more volatile than Microsoft. So you're going to have a lot more premium built into the price of the option contract for Tesla because of that volatility than you will on a stock like Microsoft. Okay, so I really need Tesla to really get down into that mid-low 280s in order for me to make a real nice chunk of change on this trade. We'll see what happens. I'll give you guys an update. I've now got 2 open swing trades. I'm still short some of that SMAR. Okay, just a piece of that position though. We already covered the bulk of that. If you missed that video, go back just a couple of videos ago where I covered the bulk of my position on that SMAR swing trade for a really nice gain. And now I've got this Tesla option trade, put option trade open. And my intended hold time is just 1 or 2 days. I'm looking for a gap down tomorrow. I'll probably take more off the table if I get that gap down. And we'll see what these numbers on their Q1 deliveries for their Model 3 really, what they line up to be. And we'll see what happens. Okay. So I'll update you guys what happens here. I'm still waiting these Q1 numbers. Still not out yet. So I'll update you guys as we go. Take care. I'll see you guys all in chat.